Welcome to Travel Around Suzy. Today we're going to do another project in the van. So y'all know that I'm sort of sleeping in my dad's house right now, so I'm not in the, but I need to work on the van to get it ready for travel year. And that's a mixed bag of happy but sad. So when the time comes, I will be getting back in my van and living 100% full-time in it. I know from the previous year living into it before my mom passed away, there was some things that I needed to change. It is really hard to work on your van when you're living in it. So now that I'm sort of living in my dad's house part-time, I'm going to take full advantage of that, and I'm going to work on the van, and you're coming along. So let's do this. Let's tear apart the van and redo stuff. In previous years, I have put this little, it was a bed skirt. I just repurposed that instead of throwing it in the scrap pile. I put it up to stop the cold air from coming from underneath the bed, from the garage to my living area. Now this is just a thin material. So today we're gonna replace this, and I just have it hung up there with screws. So as most of you know, I was never intended on being in the van in the cold weather. I was going to chase the 70-degree weather, be a snowbird, whatever you want to call it. Well, that's what I planned. That's not what really happened. Now, we are planning for all seasons in the van, and I need to insulate this better. So we're going to take this little sheet down. It's actually a bed skirt, just doubled. All right, now that's done. So that's my garage. And the way that I had this, I had a screw and 2 washers so that it wouldn't pull through the curtain. Now you can do that with towels, sheets, blankets, whatever you want the case to be. This is what I have decided that I'm going to put there. It is a runner. It's got a rubberized backing. It is kind of thick. And I also too like the design. Yep, my foot's in the boot, but we're still pushing through, and we are going to get this project done. So now I'm going to take this runner and I'm going to put it in place of the bed skirt. I've already got my screws, my washers, and you can see I'm just going to attach it to this board. And then it's going to drape down and keep the cold back there. But I do run a heat run back there so it doesn't get as cold. But there's always a draft because of my back doors, which we will be working on that too. I have lots of plans on how to organize and winterize this for next winter. So if you have not subscribed, make sure that you do subscribe to see the future of this van. All right. Not a whole lot of room down here. If I were ever to redo or do another rig, I would definitely plan for all seasons, no matter what. Now, because my diesel heater does have a fan right here, I do want some airflow here. So I am not going to do all the way to that. I'm going to hold it right there, and it will overhang a little bit, but I'm good with that. And I have enough to go all the way down to the other end. And then some. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to double this part up. And I'm going to put that right there. And I'm going to leave this down so that way I can get into the garage. In the middle of winter, if I need to get into the garage, I'm just going to lift this up and get what I need. I thought about putting doors up, but this is a lot lighter. And it's lighter and easier to work with. And if I don't like it, easy to change. And I'm just going to put my screw through this carpet. All right. All right, first screw is done. That's going to be there, tucked underneath there. And then it's just going to go from there. What I'm doing is I've got one screw and two washers. And I'm trying to make it big enough so it doesn't pull through the carpet. That's the purpose of the washers, so it doesn't go through the carpet or the bed skirt, which I was using to begin with. Alright, so see, let's see how this is working so far. That's gonna be right there. It's gonna be beautiful. It's definitely gonna be thicker than what the other was. And then I have, the back doors. I know that there's a lot of air gap back there. I have an idea of how to fix that. We're going to work on that later. Not today, because I don't have the supplies for that. I have this metal bracket right here, this L shape. So we've already got one there. We're going to move it over here and get that. Is this a perfect fit? No, probably not the best idea, but this rug was at the thrift store and I paid like $2 for it or $3. So it is, if you're not very good with building, like some people would just build a door and have it slide. But to me, that's going to add weight. And I'm not very good at building. So this is next best choice. I have one more screw left to do. And another project is done. Now, another idea is you could go to the fabric store and look at what they have on the clearance rack. If you want something, like sometimes they have like that pleather or some thicker material. You could do something like that. There. Let me make sure that this is nice and tight. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. All right, let me pull you guys out so you can see the full picture. Now that looks nicer. I like how clean that is. There's a little bit of a gap here so that I will get some cold air coming through here. I realize that. But with my fan being on, it's going to suck it in here, and that's what it needs anyways. So I'm happy with that. It matches my floor. Pretty. For a DIY project. And some screws and washers. Anybody can do this project. And this is a simple tip that can help you stay warmer in your van and survive cold weather days. And it doesn't have to look trashy. I don't think that looks terrible. I don't think anybody would know that that's a $3 runner rug from a secondhand store. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in down the road. Click into this next box where YouTube thinks you should watch.